couple of things that we need to add to this for it to be a complete. One thing is an amount that is going to be transferred to Pop-Up Downtown Development, and also the funding source. And so those are two issues that would have to be addressed um, once this legislation is presented. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. I will second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. That motion is sent to the council for the due pass with those items that I just discussed, the amount and the funding source. All right. Do we have any other business for Ways and Means? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I will second that. We're going to roll over into ordinances and resolutions. Councilmember Holcomb is not present at this time, so I will take over and preside over that meeting. Tonight we have on the agenda we have three ordinances listed. Agenda item number 2 was tabled at our last meeting, so it will not be read tonight. We have two ordinances and we have 4 resolutions. We don't have anything added. Okay. Councilman Lockett, you heard that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have two ordinances to consider tonight, and we have 4 resolutions that will be completed. On agenda item, on my agenda item number 1 is the first third and final reading. Agenda item number 3. This is our event center ordinance. I move this ordinance is already read to the planning commission. We approved it a very long process, fast forward trying to get this done as quickly as possible. Pass the third reading. And so now it's sent to us for final approval. That's just a suggestion from me. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. With that, any other questions or concerns? If none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And I will second that. Ordinances and resolutions is adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, I see bro walking this day. Yes, let me see how many. They supposed to have a kid. No. Somebody. What you? I'm talking about this. No. Yes. See, Jill, it's what the pen, soft pen. What's your driving car check out?
I think they're having an event next door, so I think everybody's just here. Army, I think they have or what? No, they just not. I just said they weren't there. I've been there for a while. They probably. I got here at 4:30.
Did you?
No, I was just here. I figured if I could get here early, it won't be late. Yeah, what? Oh, really?
Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us for the Pine Bluff City Council meeting, May 18, 2026. It is now It is now 5:33. And so we will, hold on a second. We will begin with our public comments, agenda items for, for agenda items. Nobody, yeah, gave it to me. Thank you. Thank you. And it looks like we have two people who signed up, and then I'm going to go ahead and make an acknowledgement on the front end if there are no objections. So we'll first begin. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge the two residents who are on the public comments for agenda items. The first being Lloyd Franklin, who is going to speak on item number 2. Mr. Franklin, if you'll join us at the podium, please. Oh, who was up here? Sorry.
How you doing? I want to start off by saying I'm frustrated. Good morning. I want to begin by saying clearly that I support safe, adequate housing for the citizens of Pine Bluff. That seems like a disclaimer that you got to say before you start addressing this ordinance. Every resident deserves a decent place to live, but I do not support this ordinance in its current form, and I do not believe it should even be on the agenda today. This matter was tabled. It should not be back here, not like this. I do not even know how it got put back on the agenda in this form, but the fact is that it's back. It's disrespectful to this council, disrespectful to the public, and disrespectful to the people who have already came down here and spoken on it. And frankly, I feel like I should not even have to be here dealing with this. I have bigger fish to fry. I should be at a school board meeting right now addressing the missing $3.2 million, but instead I have to be here because this ordinance is back on the agenda again. I should not have to keep coming down here every time one person decides to force this back on the agenda. I should not have to keep looking over my shoulder wondering when one council person is going to try to push this ordinance through every time he gets a chance. And now we've learned something that makes this even worse. Several of the code sections cited in this ordinance appear to be Little Rock code references, not Pine Bluff references. So now we're looking at an ordinance that apparently was modeled after another city's ordinance and not even cleaned up properly before it was put in front of the council. This is unacceptable. If the ordinance is so important, why are we finding Little Rock code references in a Pine Bluff ordinance? If you're going to propose anything, propose something that affects property rights, livelihoods, and roughly 40% of the housing market, the very least you could do is make sure the code references are actually Pine Bluffs. That tells me that this was copied, rushed, and pushed, not carefully drafted for Pine Bluff. That alone tells me that this ordinance is not ready and has not been handled with the care it takes. Secondly, this ordinance affects 40% of the housing market in Pine Bluff. That is too big, too serious, and too important to be driven by one person acting like he knows better than everyone else. One man should not be writing policy for 40% of Pine Bluff's housing market. One person should not be drafting language that controls how much of this city, that much language that controls that much of this city without meaningful input from landlords, property owners, and even his own fellow council members. And my third point is this. The process itself has been disrespectful. If the other council members were not given a chance to weigh in on the final draft, that is wrong. If landlords were not meaningfully included, that is wrong. If this is being rushed because one person refuses to listen to anyone else, that is wrong. Adding shiny bells and whistles does not address the concerns landlords have. This is not collaboration. This is one person trying to force his will on everyone else. I do not support this ordinance in its current form. I do not support this process. I ask the council not to reward this type of one-man policymaking. Pull it, stop it, let this city have a real fair, balanced process. And to Mr. Fels, I honestly think you need to step away from this because
Okay,
it's
we're gonna-
become obvious that
Mr.
it's
Franklin.
too personal
Mr.
and you
Franklin.
can no longer be objective.
Mr. Franklin, please don't direct anything to any one member. We're addressing the council, if you would. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
We need another colleague or another council person to take the lead on this so we can finally get this thing done the right way. Bottom line, we
You're at
actually,
3 minutes.
did I get through?
You
Did I make it?
did.
Okay.
And I even gave you a few extra seconds since I interrupted you. But I do want to clarify something, and I should have done this, which might have augmented your comments. And I'm hopeful that you'll be available for questions if there are any. And this is for everybody here. This was put on the table and referred back to committee. It went back to committee. There were changes incorporated in here, and if you'll look on the agenda, it is up for the first reading today. So this is not up for the vote for the third reading as it was at the last meeting. So there is still room for additional commentary. There's still room for additional changes to be made as this is up for the first reading. And I've got up to confer with the city attorney, the deputy city attorney, and I guess none of us paid attention to that those items in the parentheses to qualify the status of this item. So I just want that to be clear based upon the conversation I just had. And it looks like Councilmember Brown might have a comment or question.
I do. So in the last meeting, ordinance with this same title was tabled by this council. And so until it is brought from the table by those people that put it on the table, then it should not be read.
And I did ask that question, and if I could go ahead and ask Mr. Attorney Childers to respond to Mr. Brown's comment.
Well, this were concerning that exact piece of legislation that was tabled, the one that was read for the third time last meeting, you'd be correct, because you can't bring back the same thing. But the drafter, or the sponsor has made significant changes in the ordinance, and it has gone through the committee process as prescribed by the city code and has been placed on the agenda.
So what
I
we're
was just
saying
recognizing,
is
I was just recognizing.
so we're saying that this ordinance, that's number 2, was seen by the committee.
Yes, sir, my understanding was it was sent to
I was
committee.
at the committee meeting.
Which, can you reference the committee?
The development.
Because there was a public hearing,
I understand.
right? So I'm clarifying that for everyone in
Right.
the room.
In the Planning and Development Committee meeting, there was no legislation presented at that meeting.
Okay, Mr. Childers, Attorney Childers.
My impression was there was a committee meeting.
Madam Mayor,
Councilmember Fels?
there was a committee meeting. Councilmember Brown was present along with several other council members. And during that committee, we thoroughly laid out the changes that have been made. Those changes resulted directly from the feedback that we heard at our public meeting from some of our landlords. We made sure we included language in the draft that reflected their concerns. And within that meeting, we also considered several other pieces of legislation that are on our agenda this evening, sponsored by other council members. So it was all reviewed together, and almost everybody up here on the dais was present at that meeting.
But I guess the question remains, if there was no legislation present, then what would the committee have approved to send to the council? There was no legislation. It wasn't written.
The draft was written prior to the committee meeting, and that's the draft that was written prior to the committee meeting is what we used to have our discussion during the committee meeting. So it was a virtual meeting. I'm not sure if you were able to get your copy, but we did discuss everything that's been changed about this ordinance. It was thoroughly discussed in our committee meeting, and you were present during that meeting.
I was present at the meeting.
So, Madam Clerk, was there a copy of the legislation sent out to the committee for that meeting, for discussion about the changes to that measure that were presented during the meeting on the agenda?
I'm going to defer to my team. Do you recall if there was attached legislation sent to the clerk's office?
Madam Mayor, I don't believe.
Councilmember Fells.
I don't believe we sent out the physical copy before the meeting. However, I received legislation from several council members up here today for items that are on this agenda. We also didn't have the physical copies for those pieces of legislation at the meeting as well. But what we did is we discussed every change that was made to the ordinance during that committee.
Was it referenced on the agenda, and were there copies of?
We don't have a physical agenda for our committee meeting. Whenever we convene, we invite our department heads to share their updates. And then we share any resolutions or ordinance that may be before the committee. That's a common practice that every council member here has engaged in.
You're doing agenda, don't you? Sometimes.
Councilmember Lockett?
Well, sometimes there's an agenda, but
But it's not required.
it's not required. But some of this sensitivity now, the problem we seem to get into, Madam Mayor, Matt, Mr. City Attorney, is that if one can table legislation and the sponsor of the table legislation can bring it back without consulting the members that tabled it, then it really weakens the ability to table. And that's, the title of this legislation is the same as the previous one.
Madam,
Therefore, I don't see how one can bring this back in its form without there being a motion to take it off the table.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there was an item with the same title as item number 2 that was tabled, and then there was a subsequent meeting where, and this is from Attorney Childers, a new ordinance was presented, which would have been the previous ordinance with significant changes at the committee meeting. That item was not listed on an agenda because there was no agenda and there is no requirement for it. And what it sounds to me, and then there's a concern that since it is the same title, can it be considered a new ordinance? And I guess I would ask Attorney Childers, can the item that was heard in Councilmember Fell's committee meeting, where changes were presented, but there wasn't a copy provided, as that is not required, can it be considered a new item if the original item, which bears the same title, was not taken off the table?
The substance is what is at issue. If the substance of the ordinance is different, then the fact that it may have the same title is not determinative of whether or not it is able to be read as a new piece of legislation.
Okay.
Since it's now on the agenda, it made it through committee and is on the agenda, it cannot be removed unless there's a point of order of something like that that has to be ruled upon by the chair and then voted on by, if the chair's ruling would govern unless overturned by the council. But once it's made it to the agenda, it's a piece of legislation pending before the council.
It's, okay, so it sounds like it went through the process, through the city attorney's office, through the city clerk's office, and was added to the agenda without opposition as a new ordinance, different from the previous ordinance, which was tabled. That's what it sounds like. Hold on just a second. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Is that what you're saying, Attorney Childers?
Yes.
Okay, Councilmember Brown.
And I understand what you're saying, Attorney Childers. I guess my difference of opinion on this is that this ordinance was not at the committee meeting. So how can you send an ordinance to committee when the ordinance, the way it's written here, was not presented to the committee? This ordinance was not presented to the committee in the meeting.
Madam Mayor,
You're making that statement,
I'm
correct?
just making that statement.
Okay.
That this was not made until after the committee meeting. So how can the committee approve an ordinance that wasn't written yet?
Okay. Councilmember Fells.
the ordinance was written prior to the meeting. The city attorney's office made changes to the ordinance prior to the meeting, and those changes were based on extensive conversations that I've had with other council members, listening to the concerns that you all had. I incorporated those changes into the ordinance because we are taking your voice seriously as well as the residents. We spoke with the city attorney's office. They made the changes prior to the committee meeting. When the committee meeting convened, I thoroughly laid out all the changes that have been made to the ordinance during our committee meeting. So it has been discussed in committee. It's been presented.
Okay, so the changes were presented, just to get clarification, because I'm going to clarify this, and I'm clarifying it to get Attorney Childers' response. The changes were made to the original ordinance and presented to the committee as a new ordinance by outlining what the changes would be without providing a copy of the engrossed measure.
Correct.
Okay,
And
hold on
during-
just a second.
Wait, let me just clarify one thing.
Okay.
During that meeting, we also presented agenda item number, what is that? Number 4, which is a resolution amending the municipal budget for the downtown development. And we also reviewed agenda item number 3, an ordinance amending the city codes regarding event centers. We did not have physical copies of those as well, but the sponsors of each piece of legislation laid out what it was about. We discussed it, and we sent it through our committee to be put on the floor tonight.
Okay, so then what I'm hearing you say is that you had 3 items that you discussed in committee, none of which required a physical copy of the complete ordinance or resolution, and this particular item was presented with the changes that would be made to the original measure, which would entail which would describe what the new measure would entail. Are you saying, is that what you're saying?
The changes that were made prior to the meeting, yes.
Correct, okay. Now, let me get Attorney Childers' response, and then I'll recognize you, Councilmember Lockett. Okay? Attorney Childers, your response to, I tried to clarify Councilmember Brown's statement and Councilmember Fell's response. Can you give us your feedback as to whether or not that is your understanding, and if it is, if that comports with the current ordinance code in terms of the item being on the agenda and being read for the first reading?
Well, I wasn't at the meeting, but it is not uncommon for the germ of legislation to be presented to a committee either in written form or not, and instructions be given, we want to do this, write it up, and then it is approved by the signature of a sponsor. And once the signature of the sponsor signs it, it indicates that it has the approval of a member of the council. If it's signed by the chair of the committee, typically you assume it has the approval of the committee. But there's no rule that requires that the finished product come out of the committee to be presented to the council without some twerks being made, so long as it is done with the understanding and approval of the members of that committee.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing, let me recognize Councilmember Lockett.
Oh, I just want to clarify. Now, the legislation related to the event centers was sent to Mr. Fields by Mr. Reynolds of the Planning Commission, so he had in total that piece of legislation. So I don't know to what he infers that legislation was not on his desk now. Whether he distributed to his committee members, that's another issue.
I think
but-
that's what was stated, is that in the committee meeting, there were no ordinances or resolutions provided, that they were presented and discussed, all three items. And that based on those presentations and that discussion, the committee made a decision to refer to the full council. And I don't believe, is that an accurate description, Councilmember Fells?
Correct, yeah.
And
I
then
don't
who
wanna-
else was in the meeting? Who else participated?
I was on the meeting as well.
Is that an accurate description?
So I will say that I did, for the legislation that I'm bringing forth today, I did present him and other council members with that draft legislation and prior to the meeting. And Councilmember Fells did go over what he is, the changes to his ordinance in that meeting. So,
Hold on. Okay, and who are the members on in your committee, Councilmember Fells? So that's your chair of that committee, correct?
Yes, it was Denton and Mays. I want to clarify, I'm not saying that the council members did not do their due diligence in sending me drafts beforehand. They sent it to me beforehand.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm just, hold
but
on,
I'm
let's
just
do this, because
saying-
we got other things. If you'll, I don't mean to interrupt. The real issue is that I heard is there was a question as to the validity of presenting a new item because it was not provided in text. It was, the changes were just presented. What I heard from the city attorney is that it's not required. What I heard from you is that there were not items, those items were not presented on paper. They were presented by the sponsors the same way yours was. And what I'm trying to find out right now is, did the committee make a decision based on those presentations for all three of those items to refer them to the full council to be placed on the agenda and/or for consideration? Is that
Yes.
what happened?
Yes, but we discussed it, moved it, seconded it, sent it to full
Okay,
council.
so where we are now, it sounds like, based upon discussion, questions, and the city attorney, is that a new item is appropriately listed on the agenda and up for the first reading. I believe that the city attorney indicated what the council could do to change that. And at this point, we are just hearing from residents who have commentary. So what I would like to do is to see if any council members have any questions of Mr. Franklin per his comments that he made. We will hear from Mr. Whitfield, and we will move forward with the agenda. And if it is the wishes of the council to make any changes to the agenda, that will be considered according to Robert's rules and our ordinance code. Okay? Any questions to Mr. Franklin? Okay. Yeah, Mr. Franklin?
If I can be indulged, and I'm gonna keep this brief. When they say it's a first reading, I've been here through 3 readings and nothing changes. Once it's here, it doesn't change. And it's the fact that I've asked not addressing a certain person, but a council member to pull it to revise it. It didn't happen. It went through all the readings, and nothing changed with the concerns until it was tabled was the only reason
Right.
we got to speak on it. So what I'm hearing now is that the only thing that the landlords asked, hey, we need a sit-down meeting, not a public town hall meeting where people are just forced. We need to sit down and discuss the nuances that is in this particular ordinance. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If I read the ordinance, I got alerted over the weekend that this thing was back on the agenda. I should have been out of town, had the councilman a trip to research this ordinance, find out what's going on, call the mayor's office Monday morning. Now, if I went through the ordinance and found 10 errors in it because it's alluding to Little Rock codes instead of Pine Bluff codes, and the only reason I found this out is because I went to the city clerk's office and said, hey, I can't find these ordinances they're referencing on Muni Code. City clerk couldn't find it, so we went to the city attorney's office. They couldn't find it. They didn't know what codes they were referencing. So it turns out that these were Little Rock codes that's referenced in a Pine Bluff ordinance. And so even the ordinance you see before you tonight, they're saying that they made changes and fixed it. This is not the same ordinance that if it was passed out of committee, it's not the same anymore. It's been changed as of 2 hours ago.
Madam Mayor,
Hold on, we're not going to do the back and forth, but, no, hold on. So, I'm trying to navigate this, not understanding anything about what happened until just now, okay? And I'm hearing what everyone's concerns are, including yours, and also recognizing that we have a duly elected member of the council who has, within his right, taken a new measure through the process. Now, again, you heard the city attorney say what the council can do at this juncture, or it can go through another 2 meetings after this to be read and be decided upon again, which would then give, I think, the sponsor an opportunity to do exactly what you are requesting or not, which could impact upon the ultimate vote and the support of the measure. So what I don't want to do is spend another 10 minutes when we have someone else waiting to speak, and then we still have to go through and hear the reading and see if the council will recognize it as an agenda item after all of this conversation. So I'd like to, because I've indulged, and again, either it'll be pulled or you'll have another 2 opportunities and time in between to speak with the mayor's office, to speak with the sponsor or other council members. So if we could do that?
And I know I don't have a vote. My only question is this.
Sure.
If it was passed out of committee and there were errors that I brought to the city attorney and they addressed them, the language has changed. It's not the same ordinance that's on the agenda.
I think that this is being recognized as a new ordinance.
I know, I'm saying
Madam
from the
Mayor.
committee, what was passed out.
But I believe that the way that the city attorney referenced those as tweaks, again, this will be something that the council may have questions on when it's up for a reading. Hearing what you just said a couple of times. I heard you. Okay, Councilmember Fails.
I was just going to clarify those errors. I've been fully transparent that this is based on the Little Rock ordinance, so that included using language from their ordinance. We do that all the time whenever we bring forth different ordinances and resolutions. The errors in the ordinance were basically, in the Little Rock ordinance, they reference like different housing codes.
Okay, hold on, we're getting in the weeds.
But I just want, just for the people who are listening,
Yes.
who may think that we've made substantial errors. The city of Pine Bluff has, I don't know what the word is right now, but basically the same codes in our own, the same language in our own codes. We just had to make a clerical error to change up the reference to the Pine Bluff code. So it's not a substantial error that's been made. It's a clerical thing that the city attorney's office has rectified.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Mr. Whitfield, will you please join us at the front? Thank you all so much for your patience.
Don't say that yet, ma'am.
You said what?
I don't say that yet because, I want to have a disclaimer too that I'm not here representing NAACP.
Yes.
But I do want to say that, my friend, my brother Franklin got 20 minutes. And y'all want to hold me
No,
to
no, no,
three.
no,
So I'm just messing
He got
with you, Mayor.
three, I got.
All right. To the Honorable Mayor, flowers to the distinguished council members. I'm Ivan Whitfield. I'm here speaking on behalf of Ivan Whitfield. I said to you last time, bad law is worse than no law. I had a couple of things I wanted to bring to you all, but after listening to what you all just went through, I'm not trying to teach the mayor or the council anything, but some things came to my mind. An ordinance rushed through this council today, remember this, will be a burden to the community tomorrow. If you rush it today, it's going to be a burden to the whole community tomorrow. For Mr. Franklin to come here and have found those mistakes in a city that we're proud of should never be. Should never be. But that's it. I came here the other day, and I won't come back for the next two readings. We was invited to a town hall meeting. I thought we should be sitting at a table where we can be closer together, but we were distant apart, and I knew we wasn't going to work things out the way it should have been. No changes was, you don't have to notify me or Franklin or Johnson, one but three people that spoke against it. We wasn't against the ordinance, it was not fully in detail. We should have been notified, okay, hey, some changes have been made. Boom, we got the email, you could have sent it to her. I just think that's just great, especially from my alderman that I talked to personally. That did not happen. When we don't come together to discuss the necessary changes, this is what we get. And I'm telling you, I'm not against better housing, fair housing, and God has blessed me. I don't really have those problems. But I will say this, it needs to be fair on both sides. And if you're going to pass an ordinance that's not there, then we are rushing it. There is no rush to do this. My last thing I'm going to say to you is, you can get a decision tonight that the alderman may want. I call that a fast decision. But a thoughtful decision will protect our future. Because landlords that own property, when you try to give them some orders of what to do to that property, when people have torn up their property, it's going to fail. We'll sell, they'll sell, we'll sell to some out-of-towners, and they'll come in and it'll get worse. So I'm saying, and I encourage my council members to not to rush to judgment on this ordinance because you're passing a law. And I said it to you last time, and I'll end by saying the same thing this time. A bad law is worse than no law. I'm Ivan Whitfield, and I approve that message.
Mr. Whitfield, I just wanted to make sure that,
Yes,
that there were no questions, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, no, I love questions.
Okay. Any council members have any questions?
Let me see.
Councilmember Mays.
Yeah. Mr. Whitfield, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. Mays, and you?
Good, good. We really want to make this right for everybody. You know, Pine Bluff is a great city. We got to do a lot better of coming together and making things right. We on the move now. We on the move. Let's just make things right for the future. Clean it up now. Let's clean things up now. And we'll listen to you. We'll listen. I've been knowing all y'all for a long time. Let's make it right. We'll have to come back again and fix it again. I'm with you all. All right?
I agree with you, Mr. Mays, and I'll say this. I don't even like my wife to cook my dinner too quick. I like it to simmer.
I hear you, man.
Hold on just a second. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Whitfield. Sure. Okay. There are no other residents listed, and what I will do at this juncture is to call our meeting to order and ask Pastor Eric Walden to come forward and deliver the invocation, after which Watson Chapel Junior ROTC will present the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please stand.
Let us bow our heads in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for your everlasting love, your grace, and your mercy. Lord, we pray that you continue to guide our mayor, guide our city council, Lord, and continue to lead our city towards a rebrand, re-strengthen, sense of renewal place where things are flourishing and things are growing great. Lord, we pray, Lord, for synergy. Lord, we pray for peace. Lord, we pray for improved quality of life. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Color guard, halt, left face, precinct, arm.
We will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arm, right face, forward, march. Trail, colors.
Thank you, Watson Chapel Junior ROTC, and audience, you may be seated, as well as council. Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Mays.
Here.
Councilmember Holcomb. Councilmember Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Lockett.
Here.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunton.
Here.
Councilmember Denton.
Here.
Councilmember Fails.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And before we go into committee reports, with that, if there is no objection, I would ask for your indulgence to recognize the Shades of Support Day and ask if there are representatives for me to present the proclamation to. Okay, if you all can come to the mic and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about Shades of Support. And I love that t-shirt that says, "Be kind."
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Keisha Smith. I am the resource supervisor for Area 7, and I have the privilege of overseeing the staff who recruit and support foster homes in our community. I want to thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity to stand before you to bring awareness about foster care and the need for our foster homes in our community, especially for teenagers and sibling groups, council members, Judge Brown and his office for all their help to bring this event together, my DCFS family for all their hard work and long hours to ensure that our children and families are served and safe. We have our community partners, and again, all of you. Today we call this the Shades of Support Day, a day of community and a day of calling for every child to be safe, seen, and supported. Again, we don't have a lot of foster homes in our area, especially for our teenagers, those with behavior needs. So we want to bring awareness to the city of Pine Bluff and to Jefferson County. We have some QR code flyers If you want to learn more information, how to become a foster parent, volunteer, ILP sponsor, anything, we need you. So please come, call me at 870-534-4200 if you would like to know more information. And just to bring you into what I want you to imagine, I want everybody to close their eyes for 1 second. And I want you to think about a time where you felt unsafe, unseen, or unsupported. And I want you to think about how that makes you feel, even to this day, right? And so now I want you to transition, and I want you to think about a person who made you feel safe, who made you feel safe, seen, and supported. And I want you to hold on to that feeling, right? Because I want you guys to become that someone for a child in care. Okay. So thank you for this opportunity. I did have my area director here, Angela Newcomb, and she wants to stand up and say anything. If she doesn't, that's fine too. And here she is. And we have CASA Director Ollie Merritt. But thank you again for this opportunity, Mayor, and all of you.
Ms. Newcomb, if you had something to say, we'd love to indulge you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and thanks for allowing us to be here tonight and doing this with us. And I would like to say to Ms. Keisha Smith, she just did an amazing little speech there. So I don't have much to say. I do want to go ahead and just say that, we really emphasize in committing ourselves to ensuring that children stay safe. And we try that in their home first. And if that does not work, we do try to find family members or those that are fictive kin, which they feel they are really close to be with. Sometimes that doesn't work, though, as you probably know, and others in this courtroom, unfortunately. We have 116 children that are in foster care in Jefferson County as of today. Out of that stats, too, we have 16 that are between the ages of 18 to 21. We have a lot of those kids that have, I would just say, they've been through some of the worst trauma you could ever go through in your life, and they're still in the foster care system. And trying to find that one home that's willing to give them the love, the support, and not just make them leave when they've messed up. That is what we're looking for today. That is what we need in this community in Jefferson County, in Pine Bluff, and all of the other towns surrounding Pine Bluff in the community. I think the biggest thing, too, she brought out is our 18-year-olds to 21-year-olds. We have them running the streets, as you know. They run the streets here, they run the streets in Whitehall and other places. Some of them are homeless. We have children that are between that age that they do not have anyone that will stay committed to them and at least try to help support them and be an independent living sponsor, which is a very big need for us as well. We need people that will mentor them but take them in and show them how to budget money, be there like for holiday meals, or, when you're doing a family function, just say, hey, come on over, we're fixing to do this as a family, just so they know what family is and have some sort of peace. So that's what I'm bringing here today, is just that vision of what we need here, more so is what I see. And I appreciate all that y'all do here in this community as we see things getting better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Newcomb. I will I'll quickly read this proclamation and then ask for you all to come up on stage for a photo and receive the proclamation.
Mayor, I think Ms. Otley from CASA wanted to say a word.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Yes, please, come on. Yes, I'm sorry. Come on down.
Mayor, I'm sorry. And we have cake and punch for you guys as well. And if we can wear our blue shades when we take our picture, we would appreciate it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't know if we need any sugar right now, but go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for allowing us to come tonight. I just want to give you a little bit of knowledge about what CASA is. We are court-appointed special advocates, so Voices for Children, we reach out to the community to find volunteers that are 21 years of age and older that can pass a background check, take our training, and then they're sworn in by Judge Brown to become the voice for the child that's in foster care, to walk alongside them until they're no longer in care. So what we ask from our CASAs is to actually lay eyes on your child that you're appointed to every 30 days so that you can get to know that child to find out what they want, what they need, and when you write a CASA report, what's in their best interest. So, we ask that you actually spend enough time with the child to get to know them, to know what they need and what they want. Because I feel that every child in foster care needs a voice, and they need someone to stand up beside them, to not give up on them, and to know that they matter. Because, when you're going through a valley, you do not want to feel like you're alone. And it's very hard for these kids because they sometimes feel abandoned by their family, and they don't fit in maybe where other traditional children do. But, where they are today does not mean that this is where they're going to be tomorrow. And we want people that will fight for our kids, walk alongside them, like I said, and just don't give up. Encourage them when they're low. Cheer for them when they've made successes. We had a child the other night that graduated. We are so happy for that. Our goal is reunification always, but when it doesn't happen, we need our community to step up and be the voice for a child that's in foster care. You do not buy gifts for these kids. You do not provide financial support for these children. You don't put them in your car. You don't do that, but you do invest the time in the life of a child that's in foster care. So that's what we want. We want the opportunity to go and find volunteers that will be the voice for a child that's in foster care. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now I will quickly read the proclamation that is in recognition of 2026 Shades of Support Day. That's why everybody has on blue. I went home and changed so I could be in concert with the theme here. Whereas every child, and thank you, Councilmember Brunson, for making us aware. Whereas every child deserves to be safe, seen, and supported, and it is the responsibility of our community to ensure that all children, especially those in foster care, are protected, valued, and given the opportunity to thrive in stable, nurturing environments that foster growth, belonging, and long-term success. And whereas children and youth in foster care often face uncertainty, displacement, and emotional hardship, including disruptions in their education and relationships, particularly sibling groups and teenagers who are at greater risk of remaining without permanent, stable homes, highlighting the critical need for compassionate foster families, supportive services, and increased community awareness in Jefferson County. And whereas communities thrive when they come together to support foster families, raise awareness, and engage residents, faith-based organizations, local leaders, and agencies to create a strong and collaborative network of care, resources, and opportunities that uplift and empower children and families in need. And whereas Shades of Support Day represents a commitment to raising awareness, mobilizing resources, strengthening partnerships, and inspiring collective action to ensure that every child is not only safe, but also seen, supported, and encouraged to reach their fullest potential. Be it resolved that the City of Pine Bluff calls upon community members, organizations, and stakeholders to actively participate in initiatives that uplift children in foster care, support foster and kinship families, and strengthen the network of care throughout Jefferson County. Now, therefore, I, Vivian L. Flowers, Mayor of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim Monday, May 18, 2026 as Shades of Support Day.
Where are your shades?
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Got you.
All right, now if I can get y'all to come a little bit closer, I'm sorry.
It looks like I have a full-fledged afro. I love it. You know what? I'm missing Holcomb.
I know.
Yeah.
They were.
That's a good one. Very good. Okay, thank you all so much. And we are going to continue with the agenda. Brian, Councilmember Brown, are you doing anything? Okay. We are going to continue with the agenda, and next we will hear our committee reports. And the very first, Ways and Means, we will ask Councilmember Brown to deliver your report.
Thank you, Mayor. Ways and Means met just before this council meeting. We had one agenda item to discuss. It was agenda item number 6. It's a resolution amending the 2026 municipal budget as regards to Pine Bluff Downtown Development Incorporated. This resolution was sent to the full council with a due pass. The only thing that I noted was that we need to add an amount to this resolution as well as a funding source. Other than that, it was sent to the full council with a due pass. And that concludes Ways and Means.
Thank you so much. And next on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. And in the absence of Councilmember Holcomb, Councilmember Brown, will you please deliver your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Ordinance and resolutions met just before this council meeting.
Oh, let me stop right now. I'm so sorry.
What's wrong?
We did not, you know what? I'm going to go finish with this and go back to the approval of minutes. We'll finish with this. Go ahead. Please continue.
Okay. Ordinance and resolution met just before this council meeting. On the agenda is written 3 ordinances and 4 resolutions. At the time, it was discussed with the committee that item number 2 was to be tabled. It was tabled and not to be read, but not sure, according to the city attorney, that I guess it's up for the first reading, so it's new. So not sure how we handle that. But we have three ordinances and 4 resolutions to be considered by the council tonight. Agenda item number 1 is up for a 3rd and final reading. Agenda item number 3 is up for the first reading. I asked during committee if we could try to finish this one tonight, if there are not any concerns from the council. And 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be completed on tonight as well. And that concludes ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Frazier, will you please deliver your report on economic and community development? Oh, wait.
Oh, she's not here.
Oh. Okay, she's not here. And we'll stop really quickly, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from May 4th, 2026, and May 11th, 2026, which was a special call meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes for May 4th and May 11th be approved. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who vote for the approval of the May 4th, 2026 and May 11th, 2026 special call meeting minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And we'll continue with the committee reports. Councilmember Denton, will you please deliver your report on public health and welfare?
Okay, Madam Mayor, Public Health and Welfare, well, Clerk Robinson and I met on May the 7th at 4. The other members were out of town, area agency, cemetery, they were out of town, so I'll do is give it to clerk's office to schedule another for those.
Thank you. And Councilmember Lockett, will you please deliver your report on public works?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Public Works Committee met on May the 5th at 1 o'clock in the old City Council chambers. We had two reports, one from our Keep Clean and Beautiful Executive Director, Ms. Kelly Kennedy. She spoke in reference to the success of the Home and Garden Show, which was held at the Pine Bluff Convention Center on April 17th through the 18th. They say they saw over 80 vendors, and it was a great event. She spoke about neighborhood cleanups. I think she said the Rotary Club had did a cleanup early in the year. The Dollarway Neighborhood Watch did one on May the 1st to include the Dollarway area, and she had some planned for the fall that would target the 4th Ward. She also talked about the success of a grant that the city and Clean and Beautiful are collaborating with to put thin trees on the medians of 8th Avenue across from the convention center and going toward, I think going toward Ohio Street. She also talked about they would put some trees in the median over on Union Avenue. That's going to be on the west side. We also had a report from our street department director, Mr. Dockett, and he talked about the success of patching roads throughout Pine Bluff. I think he said he had about 4 trucks out on a daily basis trying to patch up roads. He did say there were some challenges in getting some hot mix that would go into the infrared machine. He talked about the striping machine, which he said would be due in June. And we talked about the possibility of getting the street department's monthly report in local papers such as the Pine Bluff Commercial. And he said he would work with his staff and the mayor to talk about how we may better inform our constituents on the great work that the street department is doing with the many things that they do with cutting down trees, unstopping drainage, fixing potholes, and on and on. And that kind of concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Lockett. Councilmember Fells, will you please deliver your report on development and planning?
Development and Planning met last Wednesday morning. We sent agenda items number 2, 3, 6, and 7 to the full council, and we will be announcing our next meeting date and time soon, and that concludes my report.
Councilmember Brunson, will you please deliver your report on traffic and aviation?
Thanks, Mayor. Traffic and Aviation has not met since the last council meeting, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Holcomb is absent, and so we will not hear his report on administration, unless there is any member who's on that committee who might report.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brown.
Okay, when we met, we had one agenda item for discussion. It is it's concerning 90-day probationary period for employees. It's just a policy, basically a resolution putting something in place or a change in the policy to put a 90-day probationary period in place. And that legislation should be on the next agenda.
Okay. Great, thank you.
And that was passed through the committee with full support.
Okay, great. That concludes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Brown, will you please deliver your report on public safety?
Thank you, Mayor. Public safety met on the 6th of this month. We heard from Animal Control. Mr. Graydon reported that he was dealing with a cat colony. It's a group of cats that I guess started a little group there, and so he's trying to work getting that sorted out. Typically with cats, they take those cats in, spay and neuter, and then kind of release back out into the same environment just to make sure they don't multiply. Over the past month, he said he had 56 stray dogs and cats that were taken in. Also had 19 of those go back home with their owners. On May 16th, Last Hope was at the animal shelter. Typically, when Last Hope comes, they bring supplies. They help clean the shelter. They help just whatever they need around the animal shelter. Last Hope comes in and provides that support. From the fire department, Chief Compton gave out his monthly report. All council members should have a copy of that. We had a decrease of 23 calls of service from 464 to 487. On April 28th, our burn building, they started putting that together. The pieces basically had to bring in about 13 containers and put those together. And so that facility is there. If anybody wants to go by and take a look at it, I was there to witness the first container being placed. But they had 13 different trucks, 18-wheelers to bring those in. As one pulled out, the next one pulled in, and it had a big crane out. It was quite the process. And so I know everyone's excited about that in the fire department, getting that building up and going. I'm not sure of the exact date when we're going to have a ribbon cutting or anything. We haven't decided that. Okay. So we still have some more work to do, but the building itself is in place. And so if you have a chance to go by and take a look at that. Chief Compton also reported that the fire crews were working to help get the casino hotel open. There's a to be determined date on that as well. We still don't have a date on that. No date there, but they are working to get that facility open. Summer camp for the fire department is going to be June the 8th through the 12th. Also, for 9 through 13-year-olds, it's going to be June 8th through 12th, and ages 16 to 21 will be June 15th through 19th. So that's a summer camp from the fire department. They also, during the week that we had this meeting, they were having testing. We had 28 applicants that applied for the fire department. At the time, we had 10 open positions, and so looking to try to get some of those applicants to fill those open slots there. In the police department, Chief Davis reported that he needed a few budget adjustments, one for vest, one for his testing, and also to equip 2 police vehicles that we recently purchased so they can get all the equipment, the lights, and everything they need for service. For the month, or for the past month, we had 2,441 calls for service, had 706 traffic stops, and year to date, we have had 11,474 calls for service. Crime overall increased a little bit, 8%, and we went into each division as far as detectives. They're working on 61 cases, had 37 arrests and 2 juvenile arrests there, and vice narcotics. Total cases 18, and they have served 6 warrants through vice narcotics. And we had Operation Gun Safe. That was April 17th. Partnering with the county and the state, had 8 citations in total and 8 warnings given out during that Operation Gun Safe. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Well, that was a hefty report. Thank you.
Well, when we meet,
No, it's good. It's good. No, it's good. Good stuff. And I also would want to recognize Chief Compton. This morning, there were several promotions that were made. We had 2 lieutenants, and how many engineers? 10, I was about to say 9. 10 engineers, and it was a great time had by all to recognize these firefighters in the next level of leadership and all the great work that our Fire and Emergency Services Department does for this city. So thank you so much. Okay, Councilmember Mays says let's give him a hand. Yes, thank you. Okay, so next we will move on to the proposed ordinances and resolutions. And I just want to say, because it's it feels like we're still in limbo, and I tried to guide the discussion since some didn't know sort of where we were and what the status, and thinking that we were addressing the same item, which was tabled. This is a new item, and it was put on the agenda to be up for the first reading. I understand that there are concerns remaining. Now, that being up for the first reading means it would be read today, and it would be read again at the next 2 meetings, regular meetings, which would be in June, and would not come up until the 3rd week in June for a vote. If there are members on the committee who wish to express any concerns or reservations, or make a motion to do anything different, I would feel, I've been clear about what I think and what I would do, and, you know, in thinking that there would be more time. However, given all of the discussion, the concern, I just want to reiterate that Attorney Childers did note that action could be taken. I'm saying that. I don't think anyone has said they wanted to, but I don't want to glaze over the concerns. So, Councilmember Brown, if you would, I recognize you to continue with the proposed ordinances and resolutions.
Yes, ma'am. Agenda item number 1, an ordinance amending policy number 550 of the Pine Bluff Police Department's Policy and Procedures Manual respecting the use of force and for related purposes, up for the 3rd and final reading.
An ordinance amending policy number 550 of the Pine Bluff Police Department's Policy and Procedures Manual respecting use of force and for related purposes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 1 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 1 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 2, it's an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to add a new article, what is that, 12? 7?
12. Sorry.
All right, establishing minimum standards for housing and to protect tenants from hazardous housing conditions and for related purposes is up for the first reading.
Whereas the City Council has adopted a comprehensive housing code, including the adoption of the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code, Arkansas Energy Code, National Electrical Code, Arkansas Plumbing Code, Arkansas Fuel Gas Code, Arkansas Mechanical Code, International Building Code, and the International Property Maintenance Code to protect and promote the public health, welfare, safety of its residents regarding housing. And whereas while the state of Arkansas has enacted limited housing standards for renters, Arkansas is regarded as the only U.S. state that has not enacted an implied warranty of habitability equal to other U.S. states in requiring landlords to maintain safe, sanitary, and livable conditions tenants in their rental properties. And whereas an estimated 48% of homes in Pine Bluff are currently renter occupied according to the most recent census data, which is higher than the state average. And whereas for this reason, it is especially important that property owners provide safe, sanitary, and livable conditions in Pine Bluff. Not only are substandard housing units detrimental to the economic development of the city, but they are also hazardous to the health and well-being of those who occupy them. And whereas the Arkansas General Assembly passed Act 1052 of 2021, which set forth implied habitability standards for all lease or rental agreements entered into or renewed after November 1, 2021. And whereas this ordinance is intended to supplement existing state law and to prevent hazardous housing conditions that engender human health and safety by establishing penalties and municipal fines for any violations thereof. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, Chapter 7 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas is amended to add a new Article 12, Minimum Standards for Rental Housing, which provides as follows. Article 12, Minimum Standards for Rental Housing, Section 7-351, Tenant Rights and Protections. This article emphasizes certain rights that tenants have under a rental agreement wherever made for a dwelling unit located within the city. These rights do not include the entire code requirements listed under the Housing Code, nor does it change them in or alter any requirements under federal, state, or local code. Section 7-352, definitions. Building and housing codes means any law, ordinance, or governmental regulation or rule concerning fitness for habitation or the construction, maintenance, operation, occupancy, use, or appearance of any premises or dwelling unit. Dwelling unit means a structure or part of a structure that is used as a home, residence, or sleeping place by one person who maintains a household or by two or more persons who maintain a common household and includes landlord-owned mobile homes. Property that is leased for the exclusive purpose of being renovated by the lessee is not considered a dwelling unit within the meaning of the chapter. Landlord means the owner, lessor, or sublessor of the premises, and it also means a manager of the premises who fails to disclose as required by this article. Multiple family dwellings means a dwelling designed or occupied by more than two families. Organization means a corporation, government, governmental subdivision or agency, business, trust, estate, trust, partnership, or association. Two or more persons having a joint or common interest in any other legal or commercial entity. Owner means one or more persons jointly or severally in whom is vested all or part of A, the legal title to property, or B, all or part of the beneficial ownership and a right to present use and enjoyment of the premises. Owner includes, but is not limited to, a mortgagee in possession. Person means an individual or organization. Premises means a dwelling unit and the structure of which is a part, and facilities and appurtenances therein, and grounds, areas, and facilities held out for the use of tenants generally, or whose use is promised to the tenant. Rent means the consideration payable for use of the premises, including late charges, whether payable in lump sum or periodic payments, excluding security deposits or other charges. Rental agreement means all agreements, written or oral, and valid rules adopted under this article embodying the terms and conditions concerning the use and occupancy of a dwelling unit and premises. Rental housing unit is defined in the same way as a dwelling unit in this section. Such terms include, but are not limited to, a manufactured home used as a rental and a mobile home used as a rental. The only difference between a dwelling unit is that a rental housing unit is intended to be leased or rented to the occupant. A unit shall not be deemed a rental housing unit for purposes of this chapter if the owner of record shall provide to the city satisfactory evidence that another person in possession and control of the property has a constitutional right to purchase the unit on date certain for a specified price and is entitled to receive, when the purchase price is paid, a warranty deed if the unit is real property, or a bill of sale if the unit is a manufactured home or mobile home. Satisfactory evidence for a manufactured or mobile home shall be a purchase plan with a promissory note or a UCC filing showing an article of security interest. Satisfactory evidence for real property shall include a valid and enforceable written contract filed in the deed records of the Jefferson County Circuit Clerk, which should contain the following provisions. 1, a term of payment or escrow of taxes and assessments levied against the real property. 2, a term for payment of property insurance covering loss or damage to the improvements on the real property. 3, a term stating that the buyer is responsible for any and all repairs and maintenance necessary to maintain the structure and premises in compliance with this code. 4, in a lease with option to purchase arrangement, the buyer or optionee pays pays the sale or option are an upfront, a reasonable option consideration at the beginning of the contract, which is applied toward the purchase price in the event the option is exercised, and that an option of the rent aid during the term of the lease is applied toward the purchase price if the option is exercised. Single-family residence means a structure maintained and used as a single dwelling unit, notwithstanding that a dwelling unit shares one or more walls with another dwelling unit. It is a single-family residence if it has direct access to a street or thoroughfare and shares neither heating facilities, hot water equipment, nor any other essential facility or service with any of the other dwelling unit. Tenant means a person entitled under a rental agreement to occupy a dwelling unit to the exclusion of others. Section 7-353, implied residential quality standards. For all residential agreements or rental agreements entered into or renewed after this ordinance takes effect, and exclusive of a lease to purchase or a lease with a purchase right, and except when temporarily prevented by an act of God, the failure of or caused by public utility service or other force majeure events to include without limitation any epidemic or pandemic that causes work stoppages, labor and material shortages, or required social distancing that impacts the ability to maintain or repair premises, there shall be implied in all leases and rental agreements for residential purposes a requirement that a dwelling unit or tenant or family residence have both at the time of possession is delivered to the tenant or tenants named in the lease or rental agreement and throughout the term of the lease agreement. A, an available source of hot and cold water as required under Arkansas Code annotated section 18-17-2502. This standard is consistent with section 505.1 through 3 of the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires every dwelling unit shall have connected to the kitchen, its sink, laboratory, a tub, or shower, an adequate supply of both cold and hot water. All water must be supplied through an approved pipe distribution system connected to the approved potable water supply. B, an available source of electricity is required in Arkansas Code annotated section 18-17-502 and consistent with Chapter 6 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires the following. All electrical fixtures, receptacles, equipment, and writing shall be maintained in a state of good repair, safe, capable of being used, and installed and connected to the source of electrical power in accordance with the electrical code. 2, where the determination is made upon examination of the existing electric service supply that such service supply is obsolete or is being used in such a manner as it would constitute a hazard to the occupants or would otherwise constitute a hazard to life and property. The minimum capacity of the service in the main disconnect switch shall be increased to adequately carry the total load in accordance with the electrical code of the city. The maximum or the minimum capacity of the service and the main disconnected switch shall be sufficient to adequately carry the total load required in accordance with the electrical code. 3, a sanitary sewer system and plumbing that conforms with the applicable building and housing 23 codes in existence at the time of installation is required under Arkansas Code section annotated section 24-17-502. This implied standard is consistent with sections 505.1 through 4 of the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires that every dwelling unit shall contain not less than a kitchen sink, laboratory, tub or shower, and a water closet in all good working condition and properly connected to any approved water and sewer system. Every plumbing fixture and water and waste pipe shall be properly installed and maintained in good or sanitary working condition, free from defects, leaks, and obstructions. 4, a functioning roof and building envelope as required under Arkansas Code section 18-17-301-502. This standard is consistent with sections 304.1, 304.6, 304.7, and 304.9 of the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires that all roofs and overhangs shall be maintained in a safe manner and be structurally sound and have no defects which might emit rain or cause dampness in the walls or interior portion of the building. a functioning heating and air conditioning system to the extent the heating and air conditioning system served the premises at the time the landlord and the tenant entered into the lease or rental agreement as required under Arkansas Code annotated section 18-17-502. 6. Pest extermination. This standard is consistent with sections 304.5 and 309 of the 2021 edition of International Property Maintenance Code, which requires that every occupant of a single dwelling unit and every owner of a building containing 2 or more dwelling units shall be responsible for the extermination of any insects, rodents, or other pests within the building or premises. 7. Maintenance. This standard is consistent with sections 304, 305, 306.1 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which requires that all buildings or structures which existing and now and all parts thereof shall be maintained in a safe and sanitary condition. All devices or safeguards which are required by this article in a building when erected, altered, or repaired shall be maintained in a good working order. The owner or his designated agent shall be responsible for the maintenance of buildings, structures, and premises to the extent set out in this article. The tenant shall be responsible for the maintenance of excuse me, I got to turn another page. Maintenance of buildings, structures, and premises to the extent set out in this article. Section 7-354, reporting violations. Residents may report violations of this code to the City of Pine Bluff Code Enforcement Department. The department shall then notify the property owner that it has received a report of a violation and will inspect the property regarding the complaint after a passage of 30 days from receipt of the complaint. If the violation is not remedied within that period. Notice may be mailed to the mailing address of the property owner specified in the lease or address for the owner found in public records or such other address as instructed in writing by the property owner. If the violation is not remedied, the department's inspector or authorized representative shall then inspect the property for the violations. If any violations exist, the property owner shall be notified in writing of the nature of the violations and the provisions of the city codes in issue. The property owner shall then have 30 days to remedy said violation. In this section, violations of this code means A, doing an act that is prohibited or made or declared unlawful, an offense or a misdemeanor by ordinance or by rule or regulation authorized by ordinance. B, failure to perform an act that is required to be performed by ordinance or by rule or regulation authorized by ordinance. Or C, failure to perform an act if the failure is declared a misdemeanor or an offense or unlawful by ordinance or by rule or regulation authorized by ordinance. D, in this section, violation of this code does not include the failure of a city officer or city employee to perform an official duty unless it is provided that failure to perform the duty is to be punished as provided in the section. E, if the owner does not correct the violation within 30 days or make a reasonable effort to do so, the city may cite the owner for a fine provided in accordance with Act 1052 of 2021. An owner will not be deemed out of compliance with the city code or provision of this ordinance and may not be cited or fined if, 1, the landlord supplies the tenant at the time of possession is available to the tenant a written list of any defects covered by this ordinance, and the tenant signs an acknowledgement of receipt of the list and does not note a defect or defects not listed by the landlord, and takes possession of the premises or fails to return the list to the landlord within 2 weeks of taking possession of the premises. 2, as regards defects which arise after the tenant takes possession of the premises, if the tenant delivers written notice to the landlord of the defect, but the landlord fails to remedy the defect in a reasonable time, but the non-compliance is a result of the tenant denying the landlord entry into the premises for the purpose of correcting the defect, or the defect was caused by the deliberate or negligent act or omission by a tenant or a member of the tenant's family, or other occupant or visitor on the premises, or any person other than the landlord's agent. F, except as otherwise provided, a person convicted of a violation of this code shall be punished by a fine in the following manner. Following amount: $150 for the first offense, $250 for the second offense, $500 for the third offense. If the violation is in its nature continuous in respect to time, the penalty for allowing the continuance thereof is a fine in the following amount for each day that the same is unlawfully continued, $15 for a first offense, $25 for the second offense, and $50 for the third offense. Offenses may accrue within a period of 12 months. If a violation of this code is also a misdemeanor under state law, the penalty for the violation shall be prescribed by state law for the state offense. The imposition of a penalty does not prevent revocation or suspension of a license, permit, or franchise. Violations of this code that are continuous with respect to time are a public nuisance and may be abated by injunctive or other equitable relief. The imposition of a penalty, however, does not prevent the simultaneous granting of equitable relief in appropriate cases. Section 7-355, tenant responsibilities. Nothing in this Article 12 shall absolve a tenant of his or her responsibility to comply with state, federal, or local law governing the tenant's responsibilities, which may include paying rent and reporting property defects to the property owner in a timely fashion. These responsibilities also include, but are not limited to, following ACA Section 18-17-601, which obligates a tenant to A, adhere to building and housing codes that materially affect health and safety, B, keep the dwelling unit that he or she uses reasonably clean and safe, C, dispose of all waste in a reasonably clean and safe manner, D, keep all plumbing fixtures reasonably clean, E, use in a reasonable manner all electrical, plumbing, sanitary, heating, ventilating, air conditioning facilities, and elevators on the premises. F, not deliberately or negligently destroy, deface, damage, impair, or remove any part of the appliances, fixtures, heat, ventilation, or air conditioning facilities, or knowingly prevent any other person to do so who is on the premises with the tenant's permission or tenant's sufferance. G, conduct himself or herself and require other persons on the premises with the tenant's permission are allowed access by the tenant to the premises to conduct themselves in a manner that will not disturb the peaceful and quiet enjoyment of the premises by other tenants. And H, comply with his or her lease. I, this ordinance does not relieve the tenant from any legal penalties that may apply under federal, state, or local law, which may include, but not limited to, eviction. Section 2, severability. In the event of any title, section, paragraph, item, sentence, clause, phrase, or word of this resolution is declared or adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional, such declaration or adjudication shall not affect the following portions of the ordinance, which shall remain in full force and effect as if the portion so declared or adjudged invalid or unconstitutional was not originally a part of the resolution. Section 3, repealer. All laws, ordinances, resolutions, or parts of the same that are inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistency. Section 4, publication. This ordinance being of a general or public nature, the clerk shall ensure its published consistent with Arkansas law. Effective date, Section 5. This ordinance shall take effect on the 31st day after its passage.
Place it on the calendar. Agenda item number 3, an ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas concerning event centers, up for the first reading.
Whereas the City of Pine Bluff has adopted Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinances, known as the Zoning Code of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to guide the orderly development of the community and to promote the general health and welfare, safety and welfare of the residents. And whereas in recent years there has been a significant number of appeals of the zoning administrator's decisions regarding denial of requests for event centers, and whereas the City of Pine Bluff City Council formed a task force to review the regulations concerning event centers, which held discussions, and whereas the Pine Bluff Planning Commission has reviewed and recommended an approved proposed amendment to Chapter 29 of the zoning code, recommending their adoption into the Code of Ordinances. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, an amendment to Chapter 29-2, definitions. Chapter 29, Section 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas shall be amended to read as follows. Event center or banquet hall shall mean a commercial or governmental facility such as a fraternal lodge, convention center, city park building, structure, picnic grounds, or any other city-owned or operated site, country club facility or hotel that has, in addition to other uses, meeting and gathering space designed specifically to provide a venue for holding special occasion events. New commercial event center banquet halls may be established in conjunction with a use listed above. Applications for event centers may be accepted as a use permit on review in section B2, B3, B4, B5, B6.1, I1, I2, and I3 zones. Commercial indoor amusement facilities, commercial indoor recreation facilities, restaurants, private gyms, office buildings, diners, nightclubs, and private clubs may operate as an event center as an accessory use. However, no alcoholic beverages may be brought to the premises by patrons or in connection with the event center. Bed and breakfast facilities may hold special occasion events with approved UPOR where permitted, which may limit the number and type of special occasions that can be held. Event centers approved as a UPOR are otherwise allowed under previous ordinances that were in operation as of the effective date of this ordinance shall be considered lawful and approved uses until such time as a facility ceases operation and remains closed for a period that exceeds 1 year, is converted into a permitted use, or is damaged or partially destroyed, and the expense of restoration exceeds 50% of the replacement cost of the building or structure at the time such damage occurred. If a previously approved event center has been closed for over 1 year, the property owner may apply for a UPOR to establish a new event center banquet hall on the site. However, the Planning Commission is under no obligation to grant the UPOR request. Homecoming exception. Commercial locations may be used for UAPB homecoming activities during the week scheduled for the UAPB homecoming after receiving approval from the Pine Bluff Fire Department and Inspection and Zoning Department. Commercial buildings which are directly adjacent to property zoned residential shall be excluded from receiving a permit. Locations shall be limited to commercial property zone B2, B3, B4, B5, and B6.1. Applications and a $75 application fee may be submitted to the Pine Bluff Inspection and Zoning Department. Applicant must pass the zoning and inspection by the Pine Bluff Fire Department and the Inspection and Zoning Department before permit is issued by a zoning official. Upon passing the inspection by the Pine Bluff Zoning and Inspection Department and Pine Bluff Fire Department, the applicant must purchase a temporary business license from the Pine Bluff Collector's Office at a cost of $80. Inspection shall be conducted on a first-come, first-served basis. Applicants are encouraged to apply in a timely manner to allow sufficient time to schedule inspection and to correct any deficiencies. Standing conditions for UPOR approval. Hours of operation shall be limited to 12 a.m. midnight. Requests for later hours may be made in writing detailing the request through an appeal to the zoning administrator. The building or structure must be built and designed for the proposed conditions and use of loud music. Compliance with all building and fire safety codes, including posted maximum occupancy signs clearly noted throughout the facility. No off-premise alcohol may be brought into site, including parking areas. If alcohol is intended to be provided, the owner shall provide information concerning a proposed intent when filing for the UPOR request, notify the Pine Bluff Police Department in advance, request a temporary permit from the Arkansas Department of Alcohol and Beverage Control, provide on-site security defined as a certified licensed law enforcement officer or certified armed security guard. UPOR and zoning approval may be revoked following 3 verified police complaints, including unlawful activity within a 12-month period. Event center application requirements. Requests to operate an event center shall include at a minimum the following: narrative description of the proposed operations, including whether events will be private, public, or both. Maximum occupancy load as determined by the fire marshal. Proposed days and hours of operation. Type of events to be hosted, such as weddings, repasts, meetings, parties, etc. If alcohol is to be served, notice of approval from ABC. Management contact information, scaled site plan, including parking layout and building plan. Planning Commission review. Upon presentation of an event center request, the Planning Commission will be tasked to ensure that the proposed site does not adversely affect the health, safety, or welfare of the surrounding neighborhood, has adequate parking, access, circulation, and site control are provided. Use is compatible with adjacent land uses, including separation from existing residential uses. Section 2, UPOR regulations. Chapters 29 chapters 29, sections 29-109C12, 29-110C16, 29-111C14, 29-112C15, 29-114C8, 29-115C11, 29-116C8 shall be read as follows with former information removed. Events Center, see definitions. Chapters 29-112.1B6 University Drive District shall have Event Center added to the district land use chart and noted as a UPOR in Tier 1 and N are not permitted in Tiers 2 through 5. Section 3, conflicting ordinances repealed. All ordinances, resolutions, bylaws, or parts thereof in conflict with this ordinance are repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 4 is severability. If any section, subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrases of this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such decision shall not affect the remaining portions of this ordinance, which should continue in full force and effect. Section 5, publication and effective date. This ordinance, being of a general or permanent nature, shall be published in accordance with Arkansas law. It shall take effect upon the 31st date after adoption or the date of publication, whichever is later.
Move to suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to place this item on the agenda for a second reading. Any discussion? With no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb. Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunton.
Aye.
Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Fails.
Aye.
Motion passes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas concerning event centers.
Move to further suspend the rules, place this ordinance on its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that this item be placed on the agenda for its third and final reading. Any discussion? With no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb. Councilmember Brown.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunton.
Aye.
Councilmember Denton. Councilmember Fails.
Aye.
An ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas concerning event centers.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that this item be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 3 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, agenda item number 4, a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute a settlement and release agreement with Waste Management of Arkansas Incorporated.
Whereas the City of Pine Bluff and Waste Management of Arkansas entered a municipal solid waste franchise agreement dated November 1st, 2020, which expired October 31st, 2025. And whereas Waste Management of Arkansas has submitted an invoice claiming a final balance due pursuant to the contract of $239,491.40, and whereas the parties are in dispute concerning the recovery of commercial, residential, and roll-off solid waste containers remaining at residential properties and businesses in the city, and whereas to settle and resolve this dispute and mutually release each other from any claims relating thereto, the parties have negotiated the attached two-page settlement and release agreement. And whereas the agreement provides, among other terms, that Waste Management of Arkansas will provide a credit of $30,000 in favor of the city towards the amount of $239,491.40 claimed in its final invoice, leaving a balance due of $209,491.40. And whereas having reviewed the agreement, the council finds it is a fair resolution of the dispute, and the mayor should be authorized to sign the agreement and the city clerk to attest the mayor's signature in order to bring this matter to conclusion. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. The mayor is authorized to sign the attached settlement and release agreement for the city, and the city clerk is authorized to attest the mayor's signature. The mayor will ensure the city fulfills its obligations as prescribed in the agreement and monitor the compliance of Waste Management of Arkansas with respect to its obligations. The provisions of the agreement are hereby incorporated by reference into this resolution as if fully set forth. No new allocation or appropriations of funds is necessary under the terms of the agreement.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that this item number 4 be adopted. Any discussion? I just have a quick question for Attorney Childers. I know during the discussion and negotiations, one of the things that we wanted made clear in the settlement, excuse me, was that when the containers are collected, that they will be returned to the waste management hauling station. And did I miss that? Was that incorporated in? Because I believe Chief Campbell had reached out to ensure that that was agreeable by both parties, and it was. But I wanted to make sure that that was contained in the settlement agreement.
Well, the short answer to that is I don't know. I didn't negotiate this one, so.
Okay, so let's do this. If I could, what would be the proper thing to do to make an amendment if that was not included? Or should we give a moment to read through this to see if we can find it, or if you could just give some advice on how to handle this?
It hasn't been signed by anyone from Waste Management, so we could, I suppose, add just an extra paragraph to provide for that.
Okay, and it definitely was agreed upon. We made sure to make the call. So if I will entertain an amendment from a member of the council to add that amendment to the agreement.
So are we amending the contract itself, or?
Yes. Yeah, it's just right now, it hasn't been signed by anyone from
Yes.
Waste Management.
Okay.
I just wanted that to be clear somewhere.
Okay.
And that was something that I think I just confirmed with Chief Campbell that there is something. Was that contained in an email? So there is a written confirmation that that is something that we needed to be a part of the agreement, and it was agreed upon by Waste Management's representative in these discussions.
So this becomes a number under the parties agree that, and then that would be one of the stipulations there?
Yeah, I believe in the attached emails, there's a reference to that the delivery location would be the landfill. Is that correct?
I don't see that here. It was referenced somewhere else that it would be delivered to the landfill, or just in the email?
It's just an email.
Oh, okay.
But that's a basis.
No, not the landfill, to their hauling station.
Hauling station.
So we need to add a number 7 to include that existing waste management containers
Would be returned to them at their hauling station.
will return
in
to them
Pine
at their
Bluff.
hauling station. So we just need a motion saying add a number 7 and add that language?
Yes.
Okay, I move that we add a number 7 to the settlement and release agreement under the parties agree that, and the number 7, and it'd be that any existing waste management containers will be returned to Waste Management at their hauling facility. And that's a motion.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that the agreement attached to item number 4 be amended as aforementioned by Councilmember Brown. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the aforementioned amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment passes.
Move to adopt as amended.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded that item number 4 be adopted as amended. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for item number 4 as amended indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right. Agenda item number 5 is a resolution removing a name from a police department facility.
Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that effective immediately the name of George M. Alford is removed from the police department facility located at 3000 South Ash Street. The facility will hereafter be referred to as Police Department Substation 3.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 5 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 5 as a resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 6, a resolution amending the 2026 municipal budget as regards the Pine Bluff Downtown Development Incorporated.
Whereas the city ordinance requires that an adjustment to municipal budget be memorialized by ordinance or resolution, depending upon which form it was used to approve the budget. And whereas the 2026 municipal budget was adopted and approved by resolution, and whereas Pine Bluff Downtown Development's work plan is structured around the Main Street America 4-point approach: economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization, a nationally recognized framework for preservation-based downtown revitalization. And whereas the work plan activities include but are not limited to small business recruitment and retention, entrepreneurial support and referrals, vacancy reduction along the storefront and facade improvements programs, streetscape beautification and wayfinding, historical building assessments and rehab, and public space activation. And whereas other activities include downtown events and festivals, marketing campaigns and social media presence, tourism and destination development. And whereas to accomplish the aforementioned, there is need to increase Pine Bluff Downtown Development's capacity. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Section 1, the adjustment to the 2026 municipal budget set out in the attachment is approved. The particulars thereof as detailed in the attachment are incorporated therein as if fully set forth, word for word and number for number. Section 2, that the 2026 municipal budget adopted is amended to incorporate the adjustments and changes set out in the attachment. Section 3, the Finance Department will ensure that the budget is implemented as amended.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Hold on. It's been moved and seconded that item number 6 be adopted. Any discussion? Councilmember Lockett.
Brother Brown,
Oh, yes.
yeah, we got 2 amendments that's got to be added to this particular legislation.
Correct.
An amount and a source.
I think that we wanted to recognize the motion and then recognize the amendments.
Okay.
So then we could adopt.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And so, as far as, there were 2 concerns. One was the amount of the request, and the other was the source of that funding. And just speaking with the mayor, well, the increase would be, right now, we're currently funding at $45,000. That will be increased to $150,000. That will be an increase of $105,000. And that funding source would be from the mayor's special projects line item. And so that lines out. I guess we need to make an amendment to add those 2 items. So I move that we add that the increase is $105,000 and that the funding source is the mayor's special project account.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the amount will increase from the current investment of $45,000 by $105,000 to total $150,000 annually. And that funding will come this year from the mayor's Special Projects Fund.
Question.
Councilmember Mays.
Is that a one-time payment?
No. So we have typically been making this investment in conjunction with other entities over the years. $45,000, and we are doing a budget increase right now for the $105,000 to come, since we've already passed the budget, to come out of the mayor's special projects fund. So that's what the budget amendment would be. But we're also and I think that's all we need to do right now.
Yeah.
I think that if any changes for the annual increase would be done in the budget cycle. So for right now, for this year, we are pulling the money from the Mayor's Special Project Fund for $105,000. And I think as we formulate the budget for next year, we will figure out how to add it, make this change accordingly in perpetuity, and where those monies would come from. And I think we'll have a better sense of what that looks like as we move closer to the end of the year. And I think the other change, we said where it was coming from and the amount, so I think we're good. Councilmember Lockett.
Madam Mayor, Ken, I guess this would be more in line. I like this particular sheet here. Is it any way we could get, or have they formulated where that 105 would go in terms of hard dollars, in terms of categories?
So, we have, can you hear me?
So we do, just to answer your question though, since it would be coming out of the Mayor's Special Project Fund, are you asking for specific areas, like specifically how it would be spent? So because we are not operating in partnership with the downtown development as a pass-through, because that would be illegal, we cannot do that. We can't specifically identify where every penny would go, because there are other organizations that also support. And I think that what this does is reflects what the benefit to the city would be and why we would be increasing our support. And for the record, what we are also doing is working with downtown development to increase the buy-in of corporate and other organizational partners, because obviously the full city benefits if we actually improve the development of downtown to spur private investment, which is what we want to see.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, I think the amendments there, it has a motion and a second. I don't think we voted on it.
That's correct. I'm just asking if there is any other, I'm sorry, any other discussion?
Okay.
Okay, and I think we'll call Ms. Angela up to present any comments, since we have the motion and the second in front of us. So with no further discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the amendment, aforementioned amendment indicating the $105 budget amendment coming from the Mayor's Special Project Fund to increase the city's current investment in the calendar and fiscal year of 2026, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion for the amendment passes. So let me go ahead and ask Ms. Angela to come up and present, and you all may ask her any questions after a couple of minutes of her presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Flowers,
and council members. My name is Angela Adams, Board President of Pine Bluff Downtown Development.
And I'm sorry, let me say President Adams. Okay, continue.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you tonight regarding our request to increase the city's annual investment in Pine Bluff Downtown Development from $45,000 to $150,000 as an ongoing annual investment. Downtown is more than a collection of buildings. It is the economic and cultural doorfront of Pine Bluff. The work of Pine Bluff Downtown Development directly supports the city's goals related to economic growth, beautification, tourism, business development, and quality of life. Our organization operates using the nationally recognized Main Street America four-point approach: economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. Under economic vitality, we are focused not only on small business development and entrepreneurship support, but also a larger quality of life priority, including the long-term potential for additional downtown housing opportunities and the attraction of a much-needed grocery store. These are transformational assets that increase population retention, walkability, investment confidence, and overall community stability. Under design, this investment would allow us to continue improving the appearance and identity of downtown through beautification initiatives, seasonal infrastructure, streetscape enhancements, downtown flags, and visual improvements that help create a stronger sense of place and civic pride. Under promotion, we are intentionally positioning downtown as a regional destination. This includes strategic brochure placement and promotional materials at UAPB, CART College, Saracen Casino Resort, local hotels, tourism locations, and visitor touch points that help market Pine Bluff's downtown assets to residents, students, tourists, and investors. Under organization, we are continuing to expand partnerships, memberships, sponsorships, and collaborative relationships across the city and region. Additional funding strengthens our capacity to leverage grants, build public-private partnerships, increase membership engagement, and sustain long-term revitalization efforts. This investment is about capacity, visibility, and economic momentum for Pine Bluff. It is about business growth, tourism, housing, property values, entrepreneurship, and community confidence. We believe this increased investment positions Pine Bluff not only for revitalization, but for long-term competitiveness and sustainable growth. Thank you for your continued support of Pine Bluff Downtown Development and for your commitment to the future of our city, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, President Adams. Let me, if you'll just a second,
yes,
to make sure. Do any council members have questions? Okay. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Thank you. Okay. With that, Councilmember Brown?
Move to adopt as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that item number 6 be adopted as amended. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 6 as amended indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item number 7, a resolution amending resolution number 4936, 4955, and 4990 to correct the parcel number and subdivision for a property which is 5617 Cheatham Street, 2176.
Whereas the parcel number needs to be corrected with respect to these properties listed in the following resolutions. Resolution number 4936 passed September 15, 2025. Resolution number 4955 passed November 17, 2025. Resolution number 4990 passed January 20, 2026. Each titled a resolution providing for placement of costs of collecting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. The resolution number 4936 passed September 15, 2025 is amended as follows. Change the parcel number on line 12 from 930-310-78000 to read 930-3178001. That resolution number 4955 passed November 17, 2025 is amended as follows. Change the parcel number on line 12 from 930-31078-000 to read 930-3178001. The resolution number 4990 passed January 20th, 2026 is amended as follows. Change the parcel number on line 15 from 930-31078-000 to read 930-31780-001. The Code Enforcement Department will cause this resolution to be filed in the deed and lien records of Jefferson County, Arkansas, and mail a copy to the last known address of the property owner.
For adoption.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that item number 7 be adopted. Any discussion? With no discussion, all of those who wish to vote for the adoption of item number 7 indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor, that concludes the agenda.
Thank you. Yes, I do. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, it does. It does conclude the agenda. With the exception of announcements, there also are no public comments for non-agenda items after adjournment. So I will read these announcements and then entertain a motion to adjourn. These are the announcements on today, May 18th. The first announcement is the announcement of Operation Skyhook 2026. Operation Skyhook 2026 is free and open to the public. All flying events are weather permitting. Limited seating will be available, so attendees are encouraged to bring lawn chairs for viewing competitions and activities, which are held at the Grider Field Airport in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. On the first day, which will be this Friday, May 22nd at 9 a.m., the Welcome to the City program will take place. 11 a.m., the pilot proficiency competition will take place. And from 4 to 6 on Friday, there will be free airplane rides for kids, weather permitting. On Saturday, the 23rd at 10 a.m., there will be a flour, that's FLOUR, bomb drop competition. And from 2 to 4 p.m., there will again be free airplane rides for kids, weather permitting. And then on Sunday, May 24th at 10 a.m., there will be a balloon burst and spot landing competition, or there will be competitions that day. And then from 3 to 5 p.m., there will be free airplane rides for kids, weather permitting. Item number 2, Sewing Made Simple with Renee Davis. Ready to build your sewing skills and create something beautiful? This one-day workshop is designed for confident beginners who already know the basics and are ready to grow their skills. Participants will bring their own sewing machine and spend the day learning and practicing techniques under the guidance of instructor Renee Davis. Attendees will refine their stitching, construction, and finishing skills while creating a handcrafted bag they will be proud to carry. Whether you are looking to boost your confidence, improve your precision, or simply enjoy a creative day of sewing, this workshop offers hands-on instruction in a supportive and encouraging environment. Participants will leave with new skills, greater confidence, and a custom bag made by them. Registration deadline is Tuesday, May 26th. To register, call 870-536-3375. And I do apologize because it does not have when the workshop will take place, but we will be sure to post that on our social media page and on the website within the next 48 hours.
And Mayor, also, could you see the age range?
Yes. So we will ask for an age range and make sure the date of the workshop and time of the workshop is indicated. date and time and age range. Thank you, council member.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The third item, Tai Chi with UAMS Centers on Aging. Join UAMS Centers on Aging for Tai Chi classes at the Jefferson Regional Wellness Center. Classes are held Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. There are 45-minute sessions through July 2nd, 2026. This program is designed to help improve balance, strength, flexibility, and overall wellness. For more information or to enroll, contact Charlotte Clausen at 870-879-1440 or CM Clausen, CLAUSEN, at uams.edu. So again, those are classes that would be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. from now through July 2nd at 2026. The next item, Mats and Matcha. Join Laterica Johnson for Mats and Matcha on Saturday, May 30th, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Participants will enjoy yoga, matcha, and light bites while relaxing, recharging, and connecting with others in support of mental and physical wellness. Location is at 601 South Main in Pine Bluff at 71601. Item number 5, Pine Bluff Takeover Rodeo. The Pine Bluff Takeover Rodeo will take place on Saturday, May 30th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Attendees are invited to enjoy an evening of rodeo entertainment and community fun. The location is at Pine Bluff Convention Center, and tickets you can contact, I think you can pull it up online, and you can purchase tickets online, but also contact the convention center. And there are several, I don't know why they're not on here. There are several areas where you can, or locations where you can purchase tickets in person as well. And we'll make sure that that is indicated online, either with the Pine Bluff Takeover Rodeo on Facebook, also on our page, our Facebook page, and on our social media page. And finally, Waste Management Trash Cart Pickup Initiative. I know we have been talking about this for several months, and as you all heard tonight, we ultimately had to come to a legal settlement to be on the same page about the cost for this initiative, which the City of Pine Bluff has taken the reins on to ensure that it gets done and gets done quickly. And we appreciate Waste Management for agreeing to the terms that we proposed in order to make sure that it gets done. The City of Pine Bluff is picking up the remaining Waste Management green trash bins. Residents who still have a bin are asked to call one of the following numbers no later than next week, May 29th, and provide their name, address, and phone number. The phone numbers are 870-543-5140, 870-730-2021, and 870-730-2000, extension 7. And that includes the mayor's office, the street department, and I believe code enforcement. All empty containers must be placed on the curb no later than Monday, June 8th by 8 a.m. and remain there until picked up. Any container not placed out for pickup will become the responsibility of the resident for disposal. We sent out postcards, which every resident with an account with any of the 4 water companies that provide water services for residents in the city should have received. And we have a copy of that postcard also online and on our social media page, and we will continue to share this information as widely as we can so that everyone who needs to know knows these terms so we can get these collected. We appreciate the patience of the public and have done our best to do our due diligence in coming to a solution to assist Waste Management in the completion of its contract and the collection of all containers remaining.
One suggestion, Mayor.
Councilmember Brown.
On this, the way it's reading, it says all empty containers must be placed on the curb no later than Monday, June 8th. It may be better just to say place the containers on the curb on a certain date, and then that way people won't get confused by that.
What do you mean?
I mean, when is the pickup gonna be?
So, because we never got a list, we don't know where all of them are.
Right.
We don't want to identify a pickup date because we are using the calls by residents and we're reaching out to everyone. We don't want it to be where this is the pickup date when we're really using the containers being put out as well as the calls to be able to identify and pick them up. So we don't want to confuse people by saying, hey, I missed that date, when we will really be out picking up until a certain date after that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So we just want them to put them out by January 8th.
Okay.
And we really I'm sorry, no, June 8th. We want them to be put out by June 8th and just leave them there. And that way, if people hear that and also make the calls or make the calls and put them out, street department, code enforcement, our office with all of our efforts will be able to pick them up. So does that make sense?
It does. I was
Okay.
just trying to make it be clear that, people might start putting them out there a week ahead of that.
We want them to.
Oh, you want them?
Yes, so they can be seen, because
Okay.
some people might not call, but they'll put it out there.
Okay.
So we want to put them all out there and just give us the time that we need to be picking them up, because that way, street department might see it and
They
the
can grab
person didn't call or something fell through the cracks. We're trying to do everything we can to use every mode of communication and get it out there as much as possible. But we don't want anyone to feel like or to have to do this on their own. We worked really hard to figure out what the cost would be to endeavor to do this ourselves when we saw that it otherwise was not going to get done.
Right.
And so we just put them out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Any further questions? Okay. With no further questions, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. It's been motioned and seconded. She already spoke. I recognized her earlier. Yeah, we did that already. It's been moved and thank you, though. It's been moved and seconded that we'll adjourn, and with no objection, we are adjourned. Great work, council. Thank you. And there might be still some cake back there.